درس القطع لسه القطع من الشارع. لو عنده الناس لو عنده الناس لو عنده الناس
لقد حان الأوان إلى خلق النظام. هذه الديكتاتورية، هذه الحكومة السيادية، هذه السلطة الأبدية، نحن نريد الحرية. هذه الديكتاتورية، هذه الحكومة السيادية، هذه السلطة الأبدية، نحن نريد الحرية. يلا حان الأوان، هذا وقت الشباب، هذا وقت الرجال، هذا وقت الأسود التي تمسك حبال. نحن كوحدة قوة تقدر تحرك جبال. إلى متى نخان؟ إلى متى من حكم ديكتاتوري نهان؟ في هذه الأرض سنة كما تدين تدان، في هذه الأرض حكمة كما تعين تعان. فقد حان الأوان إلى خلق النظام، ومن عاش جبان فقد راض الظلام. إلى متى نكون فقط قوم الكلام؟ إلى متى نساق وفي الفم اللجام، وبالفم نهان وبالهم نعان؟ لقد سالت عيون دمعا من سيل الدمام. لقد عشنا قرون على حلم السلام، على حلم الأمان، على قهر النظام. فقد حان الأوان لكي نقوم. هذه الديكتاتورية، هذه الحكومة السيادية، هذه السلطة الأبدية، نحن نريد الحرية. هذه الديكتاتورية، هذه الحكومة السيادية، هذه السلطة الأبدية، نحن نريد الحرية.
بقول كل كبرياء، كلمة طالعة من ضميري صاعدة للسماء. الحالة وصلت حتى والشعوب قالت كفاية. حكامنا تقرصنوا والبلطجة بقت هواية. لو كان ضميرك صاحي ما كان خفت في البداية. شوف المراية عاين حتلقى نفسك ما معايا. أنا الشعب الرفض خوف طلع يقاوم. لو كنت فاهم الكرسي مسخرة ما شفنا مرة دايم. مسرع عرايس والقيود في يد أبد تسالم. حبر على الورق وين الضمير تسيد نايم. ضباب كثير والمصير مجهول في الظل عايم. بلد مقسمة عصابة منتهى الجرائم. ديمقراطية بالاسم والقمع لسه قايم. ما في سلاح حارد عليك يسموك حاكم. بجملة واحدة ما برد عليك من غير شتايم. ميزنا نحن ربنا بعقل على البهايم.
كل الشعوب الأخرى تحترم اتخاذ حماة نظل هكذا في هذه الوحدة الوجود.
الحرب الدينية في جنوب السودان أصبح الذاهب إلى هناك يقاتل ماشي للجنة، والمقتول من الإخوة الجنوبيين من شعبنا ماشي إلى النار. لذلك هم الذين أجدوا المشاعر. حرب دينية يعني كل الأفكار في بلادي أنهم قادوها لحد سنة 2005.
Yes, for love and equality. Say no to cruelty. Till when we be living like a Jubana, true حلتنا like a Sujana. We never speak the truth cause لسانا هو مربوط ما في أمانة هي مدسوسة في الكورنر موجودة في قلبنا من الكرف قال كفاية من الصمد الحكاية. إذا أنت قلبنا فيدك فوق عافيك زهدان and you wanna talk freedom and you wanna talk من darkness you wanna walk. See when we be living Duluma 22 years وما نتلمى.
هذه الديكتاتورية، هذه الحكومة السيادية، هذه السلطة الأبدية، نحن نريد الحرية. هذه الديكتاتورية، هذه الحكومة السيادية، هذه السلطة الأبدية، نحن نريد الحرية.
الشعب جابهم بالرسالة يا حاكم احكم بعدالة. قناصة شبيحة جاب منك شينة وقبيحة. هذه عصابتك حلف النطيحة أحسن ترحل من غير فضيحة. في أبروك ناس قالوا لالا الراس لانوبل قالوا لالا كسروا الهوتيل قالوا لالا من غير ملكوتيل قالوا لالا. سلمية والناس بالسجون مرمية عشان بلدي تعيش محمية. مسكن ما يفضل البندقية.
Welcome everybody to the TSO Live Talk Show. We are so not centered right now. Anyways, y'all know me. Welcome to the TSO Live Talk Show, brought to you by the one and only Voice 17104. This is your girl Maya, and I'm here with the crew. And I know you guys are looking at us like, really? Y'all are like,
we're not in the middle. I can't even see
we're
us.
not in the middle, but you know we're gonna work on doing
That's
better.
okay.
But anyways, we have an awesome show for you guys. Before we get started with the show, I just want to let everybody know what TSO is. TSO is a youth organization based out of Abilene, Texas. We were created to give the teens the forum to speak their views and share their ideas globally and within the community. Also to help forth bring future teachers, leaders, judges, and ambassadors, and also to bring back the remembrance of upholding the 10 Commandments. And like I say, every single Monday, big shout out to everybody all over the world for watching our show, liking, sharing, commenting, and just being a part. We appreciate it. We love you guys. Like I said, we have an awesome show for you guys. We're going to start the show. We're going to talk about the Sudan Revolution just for a minute. And then we have a interview with Ebony Archer from Chicago, Illinois, debuting her song with us, Goodbye. So we got a lot to jump in. We got a lot to talk about. So Justin, Hygeer, I was about to say Azalea, but she's right here in front of me. What's going on?
Azalea, join us.
Yeah, just hop on in.
Come on, hop on. We just started.
So what's going on, Hygeer? How are you? What's going on?
I much rather not say what's going on. Let you guys talk because I am like disturbed today.
Okay. What about you, Justin? What's going on?
Well, I was hoping Hygeer would talk for a few seconds to give me a little time to think.
I can go back.
I appreciate. No, I'm very much.
Come closer. I don't bite.
Not to get too serious with it. Not to get too serious with it right off the bat, but a good friend of mine actually died this week, and he was a local activist, and he was a really great guy, and he actually died by suicide, and it's something I think that we all have to be aware of when people are in our lives. If they're going through something, we just have to be there and just reach out. You can't always do something, but if you can, just please be aware.
I'm sorry to hear that, Justin.
Yeah, no, thank you. But just
so sorry about that.
No, just please, if you know someone who's having a hard time, just call them, talk to them, make them know that they're loved. So that's all.
Azalea, welcome back.
Where you been at, bro?
We miss you.
Where you at, though?
I'm sharing. If you see me touching my phone, and I'm not ignoring you guys, I'm just trying to share.
Well, we're glad that you came out of your
I've been
hibernating. We're glad that you're done hibernating. So, like I said, we have a lot going on. Oh, I know you guys. I'm sorry. I'm doing great. You are wondering. Fine. Totally fine. But we have a lot to jump in today. We have, we're going to start with the Sudan Revolution. We have Dr. Netta on, and we're going to go ahead and bring her up. I know we've been talking about this for quite some time, but we'd like to keep it going so you guys know what's happening, because media is not talking about everything that's happened in Sudan, and that's why you have the TSO Live Talk Show. That's what we're here for. We're here to give you the tea, even though it's not sweet. It's
and
very
especially after we all got our hopes up. I mean, I'm still not discouraged because I have full trust on the protesters and the people fighting in Sudan now. But when you have unarmed, peaceful, young protesters, and on the other hand, you have the whole military with guns, with everything, fighting them, the chances are really, really bad. Hello, Neda.
Hello, Dr. Neda. How are you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Good.
So welcome back to the show. Hygeer was, just giving us a brief synopsis of what's happening. So what can you tell the TSO Live Talk Show family? What's going on in Sudan?
Well, unfortunately, not any good news today. Let me just put my computer on mute so I don't have background noise. So you probably heard about what's going on in terms of the violence and the human rights violations that happened today in front of the army headquarters.
No.
No.
Fill us in. I didn't say anything. I was waiting for you.
Things were going well. They felt that there is some progress going on with the negotiations with the army. Until this morning, there was a lot of encouraging news coming out of Sudan, suggesting that maybe they're making some headways in the negotiations. So actually, I came to work this morning very encouraged, all positive. I was wearing red, feeling great, following the news, and all of a sudden we get this very disturbing news about shootings that are happening on the Nile Street. And there is, tear gas and live ammo and fired at the protesters. And before we know it, now we know there is at least one confirmed fatality from the protesters in front of
up to 3 now, Neda.
And now it's up to 3. Yeah, it's just very disturbing, and there are multiple injuries. Last time I checked, it was estimated that 17 were actually injured. I was in touch with a young pharmacist who's in front of the army headquarters, and I've seen some live videos from the hospital there, and it's just extremely disturbing what's happening. And this is in supposedly a different era than al-Bashir's era, because at this point we're not supposed to be dealing with any of this violence or with the corrupt regime anymore, because now we have a transitional military council who took power and ousted al-Bashir. But what happened today confirms that we're still dealing with the remnants of the regime and the deep state that's left from al-Bashir's regime. And the fight is not over yet. It's actually far from being over. And the Transitional Military Council is nothing but remnants of the previous regime from al-Bashir's government. The security forces are still out there. They have not been prosecuted. They have not been arrested. And that basically tells us that this has not fallen yet. The regime has not fallen, and the fight has to continue. Unfortunately, what happened today just highlights that the negotiations that supposedly were going well are not really making much progress. And there are obviously some people on the inside who have, in their best interest, is this not to continue. There is also some speculations about another military coup that's trying to oust the Transitional Military Council. It's really not clear what's happening right now. There's a lot of confusion as who's shooting these protesters. Some news come and say these are the rapid forces that belong to Hemeti, who's now the vice chair of the Transitional Military Council. There are some news contradicting that, saying, no, these are the remnants of the security forces from al-Bashir's regime. So it's very unclear, but whoever is attacking these protesters obviously is remnants of the previous regime, because it's in the best interest not to move the country towards a civilian-led government. And that's really what's clear right now to us.
I just wanted to add something to what you said, Neda. So far, I mean, up to 5, they had 35 injured people. Most of them were shot with live ammunition, and some were run over by catchers, by the cars. So we're back, like you said, to square one. What do you think? What people should do from this point? I mean, we're trying to not be, depressed about it, not to get discouraged. And I know there is many people now are still moving towards where the sit-ins. So there is a lot of people sitting there still. But what from your side, like from your point of view, what the situation will reveal to become?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Hajar, because I think right now people are still in the shock mode. They're still trying to kind of just wrap their heads around what's happening and who's doing it and why this is happening after several days of peaceful demonstrations, of almost celebration that something is good now is going to happen. I don't think people should be discouraged. I think this will reinforce the protesters' position from the beginning, saying that it's not over. This proves to them that this fight is not over, that the remnants of the regime are still out there. They're still armed and they're still going after this revolution, trying to destroy it. So if anything, this message should reinforce the revolution, should reinforce the sittings, should reinforce the enthusiasm that we have to continue the fight. We now have 5 more victims that we have to fight for, and we have to get their rights back. So I think this is going to fuel the protest even more. My biggest concern, which I don't really think is going to happen, but my biggest concern is for things to turn violent on both sides. And I would continue to encourage the protesters on the ground to adhere to what they said from the beginning, that these are peaceful protests. Right. They kept saying silmiya, silmiya, meaning peaceful, peaceful, and repeating that. And this is a time we need to adhere to that, because this peaceful protest is what got us to this point now. Al-Bashir is no longer the president of Sudan after 30 years being in power. So we made it so far. We still have a lot to clean up. It's not over. And what happened today proves that. So we have to continue the fight. We have to continue the advocacy. We have to continue raising awareness to the issues in Sudan. And I thank you guys for continuing that fight with us. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for sticking there with us throughout this whole ordeal.
Absolutely. And we all knew that the al-Bashir regime remnants would rear their ugly head. And at least now we know how, and we have some idea of how it's going to go. This was in some way always bound to happen, unfortunately, but now we can at least see it. We at least can hopefully devise a way to oppose it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just really sad because, you know, I hope that that everybody still keeps their positivity and their vibes going, and, you know, they continue to sing and dance in the streets for peace. But I can understand how this can be hard to go back to, you know what I'm saying? So I don't even know what to say. It's like just last week we were so hopeful that things were going in the right direction. But just because for everybody who is in Sudan, who is watching this show today, just because this has happened does not mean that all of your protesting and all of your hard work and the people who have lost their lives and gotten hurt, it doesn't mean that your work is in vain. It is not, because you've gotten this far and made a lot of progress, a whole lot of progress. And just because we see what's happening right now doesn't mean that this is the end. And that's what I want everybody to think, even everybody here in the United States. Like, this is not the end of Sudan. This is not what Sudan's going to be remembered for. I mean, it definitely will be remembered for the revolution, of course, because this is the greatest. But what I mean is, you know.
So don't stop doing what you're doing. Just keep going.
Right.
What do you think we can do here? Like any advice for anyone outside of Sudan currently? What can we do and what can we continue doing to help the people in Sudan?
Absolutely. We can get fired up as we were on December 19th and hit that reset button and continue what we've done all along, which is advocating for Sudan. And this is a time that we need to do it even harder and with much, much more enthusiasm, because our people back home need our help. They're on the ground fighting this fight. They don't have time to do what we're doing here today. We have the luxury of being in a peaceful, grounds and not having to worry about a lot of the things that they have to worry about. So we need to take that time and just kind of recharge and go and continue the fight, continue the advocacy efforts. So there've already been letters written and sent out to Congress. People are now working on letters to be sent to the United Nations, to the EU. I would encourage everyone out there to take advantage of these letters that are circulating and just change the header and send it to your representatives. We need immediate action. We cannot wait anymore. We cannot wait another day. We cannot wait another week. It's getting to be critical at this point that we need the full transition to civilian rule in Sudan. We need to be able to cleanse the remnants of the regime from the bottom up, because this is very deep. 30 years of being in power, of one party being in power, has enabled this party to root itself in every single city, in every single village, in every single street in Sudan. So
This
it's
was
going to
never going to happen over 6 months. This is going to be years, but
Absolutely.
it's a struggle that's worthwhile, undoubtedly.
Absolutely. We need to advocate to human rights organizations to, condemn what's happening right now, to issue immediate statements denouncing what's happening in Sudan and urging for protection of peaceful protesters on the street. We have to do that. So letters have been sent out already. We'll continue the fight. I've sent several letters to news outlets to try to bring awareness to what's happening in Sudan already.
Right. Well, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Netta, for coming on and giving us, letting us know what's happening in Sudan. This is something that the TSO Live Talk Show family is going to continue to talk about every single week until we get where we want to be. So this is not, you're going to see more of us.
Yes.
For everybody who's watching, it's nothing that's going to stop. Do you have anything you want to say?
I'm just hoping that we will, the next time we come on the show, we can talk about the success of the revolution and the transition from the military to the civilian government. And we can talk or ask people's help on how to build Sudan to become, the better country that it deserves. I hope we don't have to talk about death or losing any more young lives. I hope we don't have to talk about anything, but like Dr. Neda said, we need you all to act like this is serious. It's not like act now and save. No, seriously, act now so you can save the people who are protesting for their rights. Civilians, unarmed, who are fighting just to live a free life.
Right.
We just ask all the community, we ask everyone, any activist, and we just need to apply more pressure so we can get more coverage, media coverage, involvement, and we don't want to hear letters from senators saying we condone this.
Right.
We need actions.
Right.
So that's
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Netta, for coming on.
Thank you. And I'm going to end with Sagatat Ma Sagatat Sabbinnaha. And thank you guys for being Sabbinnaha with us. And Hajar can translate that for you guys.
Yeah.
That's good, Bus.
That's good, Bess. That's good. Say that's good talent.
That's good talent.
Yes, because if
talent.
We made it fall first time and the second time, and now this is the third time. Talent is 3.
Talent.
So that's good talent.
That's good talent.
That's
Yeah.
good talent.
And Sabbinnaha.
And Sabinaha.
There we go.
Oh yeah, we about to be on this. we about to get it down. We're gonna get it down packed.
And thank you, Dr. Nada, and Sagatat Ma Sagatat Sabbinna.
Which I just
said.
Yeah.
What I just said. On behalf of the TSO.
Yes.
Sagatat.
Sagatat.
Ma Sagatat.
Ma Sagatat.
Sabbinnaha.
Sabinaha.
There we go. Sabbinnaha.
No.
Yes.
No. Thank you so much, Dr. Netta. I'm pretty sure she cooked off rain, but thank you so much for being a part of the show and coming on. Like I said, it's important that we continue to talk about what's happening in Sudan because other media outlets are not talking about it. And we want to show the Sudanese people that even though we're here in the United States, we are here fighting with them. We're here sharing their story, sharing their photos, talking about it. And that's what everybody who's watching this show today, that's what you need to do. That is your homework, to read more posts about it, watch more videos, talk about it at work, get the word out because, this is going to sound very ignorant, but a lot of people aren't even paying attention what's going on in Sudan because they don't care. It's not, as they say, it's not their land. It's not the land of the free. Which what is the land of free? Because we're definitely not in it.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's another show for another day.
Another series.
That is another series. So we are going to jump into the second half of our show. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment, and send to all your friends because if you don't already have, but do it again because sharing is caring. I'm getting some feedback in the background, so if your video is still on, make sure that you have like whatever you have the show playing, turn that off so we don't have no feedback in the back. So, man, hold on, let me take a break. Ooh, God, that was so much work. And I don't understand. I think I have like sore glands. I'm going through it today. Anyways, let's go ahead and bring our special guest up, Miss Ebony Archer. How are you doing? Welcome to the TSO Live Talk Show. What's going on?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey.
Welcome. So for everybody who is watching the show right now, this is Ebony Archer out of Chicago, Illinois. She is a artist from Chicago, and she's here debuting her single with us, Goodbye. So before we get started with the interview, Ebony, why don't you tell everybody who are you and what you got going on?
Okay, cool. So I'm a recording artist from Chicago. I'm also CEO of Music Evolve Records, and basically it is a record label and entertainment company. My whole goal is to kind of evolve and shift the way things are done in the entertainment industry. We all seen like the scandals that's been going on, from the R. Kellys to, the Me Too movement to the Jussie Smollett. And I think people have forgotten that music can actually heal. It can actually have a purpose. It could do more good than what we have been seeing. And so I think that's the main reason why I created Music Evolve Records, is just to evolve the way the music industry has gone in the past maybe over 10 years. And so I'm really excited. I love music. I've been doing music since I was a little bitty girl. So just to be able to not only showcase my talents, but to be able to help do that for others, that's what I'm all about. So
That's awesome. So with you coming up with your record label and wanting to change kind of like the demographic of what music is right now, how do you feel about what's going on in our music industry?
Man, that could be a whole nother show. It's just so much that's going on. I mean, just from the pop, I call it popcorn music, till it's the difference. If you notice like the music in the 90s or early 80s to the music that's out now, you could definitely tell that there's not no soul in music no more. It's nothing with the lyrics. They say, you can have a hit, just a nice beat, say popcorn throughout the whole beat and you got a hit. Right, so
I was just telling a friend, agreeing with what you're saying, because like if you listen to the 90s earlier, when they sang, they sang. They didn't sing, they sang, and they had a lot of emotion. And when they did sing, sing, okay, they had something to sing about.
Right.
Nowadays, what are they singing about?
We're singing about being put up.
When you hear the music, you listen to the lyrics, okay, but when you're hearing the person, the artist sing, it's like there's like nothing there. Mm-hmm. Like emotionally wise. It's just empty.
Yeah. But there was some dumb music back in the early 90s. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're not saying all of them.
We have bad lyrics back then, but now you don't have lyrics. You need a beat.
But also auto-tune, and like you're not singing. You don't have to actually know how to sing to sing. Like they can just fix your pitch for you. I don't like that.
I mean, just saying the great music, the great artists,
like Jesse Powell,
the new ones coming up now. I just, sometimes I worry sometimes because like. If you just look at in the direction where music is going to, it's like, it's crazy.
Well, we've talked about it on the show before, Ebony, that how powerful music is and how our children are listening to it. And, music, as much as our kids and even me, my dad used to always tell me, why are you listening to this nonsense? I'm like, I'm not listening to the words. I'm listening to the beat.
The beat, yeah.
And he used to be like, yeah, it's still going in your mind. But, I was a kid. I was like,
that's the same I said to my last.
But now, like, I noticed, like, with my own, it's like, I'll be playing something in the car because I'll forget. And then... And I just get him, like, oh no. But it's our music nowadays has changed a lot. So with your music, what are some of your what's the word? What are some of the what's the word, guys?
Message.
Yeah, what are some of the messages that you're bringing forth with the music? Like, are you just trying to bring back soulful, like R&B music, or are you also including like positive messages? Like, what is your vision for your record label?
Well, everything I do, it has a message. That's with me, period. When I'm singing or speaking, it always has to have a message. And even with the single Goodbye, it's a lot of women and men that's been through domestic violence or been through heartaches and sometimes it's just friendships. It's like a lot of things that baggage, and you can't let go. And so a lot of people are going through that. So I try to write about topics and things that I know people are going through, but always have a positive spin to it. Like, okay, you're going through this, but this is how you get out of it. And I think that's going to be the difference of my label, because we talking about the 90s. We had Brandy, we had Monica, we had Destiny Child, Whitney, Mariah. We had some heavy hitters, we had the Brahma Knights. And so, yeah, it was done music back then. But see, the difference between now and back then, it was a variety. Every artist had their own style. Now, everybody trying to sound the same. You got the same producers. You can't, it's like if you heard one song, you heard them all. So that's the difference between the 90s.
Making beats. You got AI making the
exactly.
Beats now. You don't even need a producer. You just need to hook your AI up to the computer, get him some rhythm software. You just do it himself. Well,
see, Soulja Boy. See, I said when 2007 came and Soulja Boy came with Fruity Loops and made a whole album off of what was that song? What's that song? Soulja Boy up in. What's that song?
Soulja Boy. Ain't that
Crank That? Remember that song? Crank That. It came back in 2007.
Oh,
yeah. When he did that, he changed the whole game. Like everything after 2007, it changed literally. So the internet has taken over, but that's what I'm trying to, change. Is just really bring just the soul back, like just real music back, whether it's pop, whether it's soul, whether it's gospel. Just really bring, some substance back to music.
I think it should go back to. I think we should push the reset button and start back to doing acapella.
And then we need a lot
of people won't have a career. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but then gradually we can get the pianos back in it, and then the drummers.
Well, you messing up a lot of people's livelihood. They about to kick you off the show right now. They about to march just to get Azalea off the TSO live talk show for saying that. But I mean, our music has definitely changed. And it's not only just changed with the lyrics, but how our kids are acting because what they receive from the music. And I applaud you for wanting to do something different. But another question I have is, how hard has it been? Because starting your own record label and wanting to help bring forth a positive message, and you want to change the game, how hard has that been for you, not just as an artist, but as an African American female?
I think it's definitely difficult. Being an independent artist, you got a lot of obstacles in your way because you don't have the money like the majors. So you just got to move different and you got to be strategic. In the industry, I believe it's all about your connections, right? It's about who you know. And I think as a young Black female, you definitely had to carry self-respect.
Right.
You have to, it's the way that you carry yourself. And you got to know, even when I don't know what I'm talking about, I pretend. I don't let nobody else know. I pretend like I do because that's how it is. And for me to be young, people older in the game, the veterans, they automatically think one way about you. So I think it's really hard, but you just got to be strategic, in any industry. You just got to be connected to the right people and just keep grinding and keep just, like I said, if it's your passion, you got to keep grinding.
So what do you like to sing about? What are your themes? What are your motifs?